today we have a nice hip practice, a little bit of hips strengthening and then hip stretching and lots of self-love. I'd like us to begin on our backs today. So go ahead and take your time here. Come all the way down onto your back and pull your knees into your chest. You rock a little side to side if that feels good. And then coming back to center. Lowering your feet down with your knees bent. So setting up for a bridge. Ankles are underneath the knees, arms alongside the body. Moving with our breath. As you exhale, nice and slowly, one vertebra at a time, articulate your spine up into a bridge so hips come high. Take an inhale at the top, fill up your belly, fill up your chest. And then exhale, articulate your spine back down, bone by bone. Once you reach the bottom, take an inhale, relax any clenching here. Exhale, slowly peel the spine up. Taking an inhale once you reach the top. And exhale, lowering back down. Inhale at the bottom. Last time, slowly peeling up on your exhale. And once you reach the top, go ahead and pause here. Imagine you have sand in your back pockets. And you'll let the sand pour out of that right pocket, that right back pocket. So letting that right hip drop a little bit. Come back to center. And then pour the sand out of that left hip. So let that left hip drop. And back to center. Right hip drops. And center. Left hip drops. And center. One more time. Right. And center. Left and center, holding here at the top. Reach your arms all the way up and back, so reaching those fingertips back behind you so your armpits face the ceiling. Lift up onto your tippy toes. It might feel natural to move your feet back a little bit or closer to your body. That's totally fine. Keep reaching your fingers all the way overhead. Take an inhale. Exhale, slowly articulate your spine back down to the mat, bone by bone. Once you reach the bottom, lower your hands alongside the body. Press the low back into the mat as best you can, so getting rid of any of that arch in the low back. So pushing the low back down, lift your legs up to tabletop. Feel free to stay here and think about pressing that low back down. So you should always already feel your core engaging. If you'd like a little bit more, take your hands to the fronts of the thighs and push your hands into your thighs, thighs into your hands. You'll feel your belly really fire up even more. If this feels like too much, just release the hands. Keep pressing the low back down. If you feel like you want a tiny bit more, lift the shoulders and the head off the ground, looking between the thighs or towards your belly button. Totally okay to shake, finding some of that internal earthquake. And release, hug the knees in. Keep your right knee hugged in and let your left leg go long down the mat. Holding on to that shin or knee, that right shin or knee, go ahead and draw some circles with that right knee. And circle the other way. Bring your right knee back to center. Press your low back down into the ground. Nice strong core, lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. So as you inhale now, lower your left leg towards the mat. Doesn't matter how far it goes, but keep your low back glued to the ground. Then inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, lowering the leg. Inhale, lifting back up. So following your own pace, your own breath, you can change up the order of the breath, so it doesn't matter as long as you're linking your breath with your movement. Keep your low back down. If you're looking for a little bit more upper ab as you do this, you can lift your shoulders and your head off the mat. Next time your left leg is towards the mat, go ahead and pause and hold. Doesn't matter how low it goes, so if it feels better on your back, you can always lift it higher. We're going to draw circles with this left leg, nice big circles. Imagine you're in kind of a globe and you're trying to paint this inside of the globe or igloo with the bottom of your foot. So feel free to flex your foot. You'll circle your left leg out to the left, and then to the side, up towards the ceiling, and then back down. And keep going that one direction. And then noticing your back and your pelvis here, and try and keep that really stable. So trying to minimize movement in the torso, try to move just in that hip. So it's the thigh bone moving in the hip socket. Go ahead and reverse direction, so reaching the leg up, out to the side, paint that globe, back down, and up. You can always make this smaller, so if you're feeling a lot of pops in the hip and that's uncomfortable, you can always make it smaller. The next time your leg is up towards the ceiling, go ahead and pause, bend your left knee, grab a hold of that left knee, let your right leg go long down the mat, so you can let that right leg now relax all the way down. Start to draw some circles with your left knee. And go the other way. And coming back to center, squeezing that knee in. Press the low back down, nice stable back, strong core. Lift that right leg up towards the ceiling. And then lower the leg towards the mat. Keep going here. And go ahead and link your breath with your movement. So you choose which direction you want to go. Maybe you inhale on your way down. Exhale on your way up. Paying attention to that pelvis and to the back, and try and keep it really stable. You're always welcome to lift the shoulders and the head here if that feels better to you. Next time your right leg is towards the mat, go ahead and pause. Don't bring it all the way down. Again, keep that back super stable. Imagine you're in that globe or igloo. Maybe pick a color that you want to paint this globe or igloo. Imagine you have that paint on the bottom of that right foot, and start to circle that right leg out to the right. And then up towards the ceiling. Keep the back really stable, and then back down towards the mat. Keep going this one direction. If you need to, you can always make the circles smaller. And just remembering this is your time and your practice. So if you need to take breaks, feel free to do so. If you need to modify, listen to your body, that's totally fine. Go ahead and reverse direction so the leg reaches up towards the ceiling, then out to the right, down and around. Painting your igloo, keeping that back nice and stable. Next time your leg is up towards the ceiling, go ahead and pause and bend the knee, pull it in towards the chest. Rock yourself a little side to side. And bring your feet back down to the mat. We're going up into one more bridge here. So planting those feet underneath the knees, arms alongside the body. Peel your spine up into your bridge. We're really squeezing the glutes here. Actively push your arms down into the ground. See if you can engage your abdominals just a little bit. So we're thinking we're more in a ramp than a bridge, a traditional yoga bridge. So pulling those ribs down, nice ramp, push the arms down. Keep pushing those arms down. Keep your toes on the mat, but lift your right heel up. And then lower your right heel. Lift your left heel up. Then lower your left heel. Right heel lifts. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you push your arms into the ground a little bit more. Float your right foot just for a second and bring it down. Lift the left heel. Maybe you stay there or float it up just for a second. And back down. Lower your spine all the way down. Windshield wiper your knees side to side. Then pull your knees into your chest and rock on up to seated. You can take a few rocks if you need to. You can also roll to one side if that feels better for you. Go ahead and shift to hands and knees. Just spreading your fingers wide. Take your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees under your hips. And take some big circles with your hips one direction. And go the other way. And coming back to center. Tuck your toes under here. And inhale your chest forward, tailbone up. So taking your cow pose here, stretching out your belly. Then exhale, round your back into your cat. Drop your chin, tuck your pelvis, pull the belly button towards the spine. So feel free to continue like this, normal cat and cow. So inhaling, chest forward. And exhale, rounding into your cat. Or if you want to add on, when you find your cat position, go ahead and hover your knees a little bit off the ground. Knees come right back down for your cow. Follow your pace, your breath. Next time you're in cat position, go ahead and pause. You can have your knees up or down, shoulders out of the ears. Keep breathing here. And release. Take your toes together. Knees nice and wide. Sit all the way back, child's pose. Arms can stretch forward if that's comfortable. You're also welcome to rest your forehead on your arms, so using your arms kind of as a pillow. So just finding what's most comfortable for you. And start to tune into your breath. So maybe this is the first time today you've let yourself settle down a little bit, so give yourself permission to rest for a few moments. Feeling the comfort of the mat. And go ahead now and take a moment to think about one thing you really love about yourself. It's always nice to remind yourself of the pieces of you that you love. And sometimes that can be hard. So maybe you stick to something really small or something you like. But if you can, coming up with one thing you love about yourself, doesn't matter if it's something that's more physical, or maybe it's a personality trait. Doesn't matter. One thing. So the better we're able to love ourselves, the better we can love other people. always starts within. Two more breaths here. Go ahead and shift forward back to hands and knees. Recenter your knees under your hips. Stretch your right leg back behind you. Just get the blood flowing back into the leg for a moment. And release your right knee, switching sides. Left leg stretches back. And go ahead and release. Float your right knee off the mat and start to draw some big circles with that right knee. One direction. Watch your shoulders, so shoulders stay out of the ears. Both elbows are straight, so the tendency is to sort of collapse as you do this. Keep pushing the arms down. Straight elbows. Circle the other direction. Back of the neck is nice and long, in line with the rest of the spine. And go ahead and stretch that right leg back behind you, parallel to the earth. Cross that right leg to the left, so it's going to go off the mat. So right leg crosses to the left, ball of the foot comes down, or top of the foot, doesn't matter to me. Feel free to stay here, or start to slide that right leg away from you, so it's going kind of back and to the left. Feel free to stay here on your hands, or come down to your forearms. So we're not in a pigeon pose, but you might feel some stretch here in this left hip. You might also feel a stretch in your right side body. And if you don't feel a stretch, that's okay. We're only here for a few breaths. Slowly come back up onto your hands if you came to your forearms, and make your way back to hands and knees. Wag your tail a little side to side, and recenter yourself. Float your left knee. Draw some big circles with the knee, get into your hip. Again, shoulders out of the ears, back of the neck long, straight elbows. Circle the other way. Notice your breath here. Stay with your breath. And stretch that left leg back behind you, parallel to the earth. Left leg crosses the body, so it goes off of your mat to the right. Ball of the foot comes down, or top of the foot, doesn't matter. Start to let the legs slide away from you, leaning back if that feels okay. Feel free to stay on your hands if that feels best, or come down onto your forearms. And again, here we're looking for a stretch in the right hip or the left side body. Last few breaths here. Slowly lift yourself back up onto your hands and bring that left knee back to the mat. Recenter your hips so the knees are right under the hips. Maybe wag the tail. And tuck your toes under. Lift yourself all the way up. Downward facing dog. So first down dog here, go ahead and take your time. Pedal out your feet or sway the hips. Just moving in whatever way feels nice to the body this morning. finding stillness. Actively push your palms down into the ground. Reach that tailbone nice and high. Find that length in the spine. Inhale, reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Step the foot forward between the hands. Go ahead and lower your back knee down towards the mat. If your knee is sensitive, you can always fold your mat so you get a little extra padding, or grab a blanket, a towel, place it under the knee. Bringing your hands up onto your thigh. Scissor your legs, so instead of sinking down, you're hugging that right hip back. Left hip comes forward, glutes are engaged. Think about release. So as you squeeze those glutes, you might feel a little more stretch here in the psoas, or the hip flexor. Really squeezing those glutes. Feel free to stay right where you are with your hands on the thigh, or bring your arms back behind you and interlace your fingers. Elbows can stay bent to start, and pull those elbows back so your chest opens. Few breaths here. If you'd like, you're welcome to straighten those arms. If that doesn't feel good, rebend the elbows, no problem. 2 more breaths. Release the hands all the way down. Lift your back knee off the mat, step back to a plank. Holding your plank. Inhale, let your weight shift a little forward so those shoulders are really over the wrists. Exhale, bend the elbows back. Chaturanga, feel free to use your knees if that's better on your body. Inhale, the chest forward, cobra, shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, we meet. Downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Step the foot forward and lower your back knee. So again, feel free to pat up that back knee if that feels better on your body. Lift yourself up onto your front thigh. Again, scissoring your legs, so left hip hugs back. It doesn't mean that you're not bending that front knee, you're just really supported. So as you bend that front knee, you hug the left hip back, right hip forward. Squeeze the right glutes a lot, and think about lifting your torso up a little bit. So you're welcome to keep your hands on your thigh. If it feels nice, you can reach the arms back and interlace the fingers. If you're interlacing, you might interlace with the other pinky on top so it feels a little bit funky, a little bit weird, a little different. Pull those shoulder blades together or towards each other. Shoulders down out of the ears. Elbows can stay bent. Or if you prefer, you're welcome to straighten the arms. Pay attention to where you feel this. And gently release the arms, hands come all the way down. Back knee lifts, step back to a plank. Holding plank. So you're welcome to have your knees down. We're not going down onto our belly, but feel free to have your knees down. On your next inhale, float your right foot off of the mat. Just for a second here. Feel those glutes. Try not to change the shape of your back. And then bring the foot back down. Left foot floats. Keep that back the same. Use those glutes. Then bring the foot back down. Lift yourself up. Downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Let it out the mouth. One more time, deep inhale, and let it go. Stretch your right leg back behind you. Keep your hips square to start here, so the right toes are facing down towards the ground. On your next inhale, you'll stack your hips. So the right hip goes on top of the left, the pelvis is facing to the right. Try and keep your shoulders square here. It's a little bit hard. And exhale, square the hips. Right hip comes down, you're coming back to that starting position. Inhale, stack the hips. And exhale, square. Last time, inhale, stack, stay here, bend that right knee. Circle the ankle. Circle the other way. Relax the foot. Knee to nose. Step the foot all the way forward between the hands. We're going up into a warrior one. Back foot steps forward just enough to get the heel down. Torso comes all the way up. Soften the shoulders. Again, squaring the hips, the right hip pulls back. Finding that inner warrior within you. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Exhale, bend the front knee, hinge all the way forward. Hands down, step forward. Back foot meets the front. Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway up, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, arms sweep up, reaching tall, finding your full height. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Stretch your left leg back behind you. Again, starting with the hips square so the toes are facing down towards the ground. As you inhale, stack your hips, so left hip goes on top of the right, you're opening your pelvis to the left. And then exhale, square the hips, so back to that start position. Keep going, follow your breath, just a few more. Next time your hips are stacked, pause. Try and keep your shoulders square. Bend your left knee. Circle the ankle. Circle the other way. Relax your foot. Take an inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Step the foot forward. Finding your warrior one. Back foot comes forward enough to get the heel down. Torso comes all the way up. Shoulders down, arms actively reaching up even though the shoulders are down the back. Rib cage in, belly lifts. Several deep breaths here. Let yourself really settle into the pose. On your next inhale, straighten that front leg. Exhale, bend the front knee, hinge all the way forward, hands plant, step forward. Back foot meets the front. Inhale, lengthen the spine halfway up, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, arms sweep up, reaching tall. Exhale, hands to the heart. Lower the arms alongside the body. And we'll go ahead and hold Tadasana, so mountain pose for a few breaths here. Palms can face forward if that's comfortable. Bringing the back of the neck nice and long, shoulders soft. And take a moment to notice how you're doing, how you're feeling. those eyes. And we'll move sideways on the mat so that you're on the long part of the mat. And take your feet wide. And from here, you'll turn your right toes to face towards the front of the mat and bend into your right knee. So we're moving into a warrior two. So that right ankle intersects the back arch. Bring the arms out to the side into a nice T position. As you inhale, straighten the front leg, reach the arms up. And exhale, bend back to warrior two. Inhale as you straighten and lift. Exhale as you bend. So keep going, follow your pace, your breath. Next time you're in warrior two, pause. We'll bring that right forearm to the right thigh. And reach that left arm up and overhead into kind of a diagonal shape. So diagonal from fingertips all the way down to that back heel. If that bothers your shoulder though, you can release the arm. And of course you're welcome to bring that right hand down towards the mat if that's part of your practice, if that feels good. Just for a moment here, super strong core. Doing this only if it feels safe on the body. Whether your elbow is on the ground or the hand is on the ground, you're going to float that support. So you'll float that right arm and reach the right fingertips forward. And release, coming all the way up, straighten that front leg. Whew. Turn those right toes forward, left toes out to the side. Then bend into your left knee. So taking your time here to find that warrior two that feels good for your body. Arms can reach out to the side. So that back foot is just about parallel to the short edge of the mat. Inhale, straighten the front leg, reach the arms up. And exhale back to your warrior two. Keep going up and down, following your pace, your breath. Next time you're in warrior two, pause. Moving into your side angle, left elbow to thigh, right arm reaches up and overhead into that nice diagonal stretch. And again, if you prefer, the hand can come all the way down to the mat. Soften the muscles in the face. Find that nice length. So super strong legs and core, and again, this is optional. It's only if it feels good on the body or interesting to the body. Float your base of support within those arms. So either floating the left hand or the left elbow, maybe reaching that left arm forward for a moment. And coming all the way up, straighten out the leg, release. Turn those left toes in. We're going to shorten our stance just a little bit. So heel toe those feet in maybe once or twice. So now you're just wider than shoulders. Going into a super narrow warrior two again. So warrior two, just narrow this time. Right toes turn out to the right, bend your right knee. Same idea. Inhale, straighten the front leg, reach the arms up, and exhale, bend. So option to keep doing this. If you'd like to add a little bit of a hop or a little bit of a lift, you're welcome to. So as you inhale, you'll spring off that right foot, come up, and then come back into that short warrior two. So there's really no right or wrong, but see if you can get yourself enough spring so you can have some hang time before you come back down. If hopping is not going to work for you today, keep the foot down, no problem. All right, so on one of these next few, we're going to hold on that left leg, so holding the balance. So give yourself enough spring to come all the way up. If you're lucky enough to have a wall, you can use that wall. Release the arms, take your time to get here. If you're still hopping, that's fine. Moving into tree pose. So, right foot can come down, toes can be down, foot can be below the knee or up above. If you need to come out of this, shake it off a little bit and then come back in. That's totally fine. Maybe hands to the heart today. You might feel your heart beating really fast because you did just a little bit of cardio. So transitioning with control. You'll release the arms. Keep that right foot off the ground. You'll just take that right foot off of your thigh. Go back towards your warrior two as best you can. So just a big step. Bend into that knee and then straighten it out. Right toes face forward again, so you're in a slightly narrower stance than we were originally. So just slightly wider than the shoulders. Left toes point out to the side. Small warrior two, bend into your left knee, arms out. Inhale, straighten the front leg, reach the arms up. And exhale, bend. Keep going here, follow your breath. So again, this is a great option. Definitely feel free to stay here. If you're staying here and you want a wider stance, you can also play with that. If you feel like hopping, as you inhale, spring off your left foot, come up, and then back into that short warrior two. And as you go, see if you can push off the foot enough to get some hang time before coming back down. And just have fun with it, right? Enjoy yourself. This is your time. So make it feel interesting, make it feel good. So in the next few, see if you can get yourself up enough so we can find that tree pose. If it takes several hops or if you need to just come out of it to find your tree, that's totally fine. But when you're ready, setting up for your tree. Again, left foot can come down to the ground, so you can have your toes down if that's what you need, no problem. Foot can be below the knee or come up above the knee. So both sides are different, each side is different. So if you feel like this side needs something else, that's fine, listen to your body. Hands to the heart, spine is nice and long, rooting down into that right foot. Maybe you can feel your heart beating beneath your thumbs. So coming back to that short warrior two. With control, release the arms, release the foot, step that foot out, bend and straighten. We'll turn those right toes out now so that both toes are pointing out. And bend your knees. You can let your weight rock a little side to side if that feels good. So we're going to get down to the floor soon, just a little bit more here standing, so do what you can. I know we've worked hard today, so pressing those knees open. You'll keep your right arm on the inside of that right knee. So maybe it's the hand, maybe that means you need to come a little lower. Or maybe you just imagine you're pushing into your arm, or your arm is pushing into your leg. So right arm to right leg. Let yourself twist a little to the left, reach the left fingertips up. Come back to center. Switching sides, other arm to leg, right fingertips up, we're almost there. And back to center. Straighten out those legs. Whoo! Turn those toes forward. Slowly come all the way forward. Take your time. Standing forward fold. So hands can find a chair if the ground feels far away, or bring your hands down to the ground or to blocks. And once you're there, let your head go. So shake out that head, let it go. So keeping this pretty subtle, so it doesn't need to be huge. Start to bend your right knee. Let your weight shift a little over to the right. You might feel a left inner thigh stretch. Come back to center. Bend your left knee. And back to center. One more time each side. Bend that right knee. And center. Left knee. And center. Soften both knees, but keep the legs strong. So actively push the feet down into the mat. Lengthen out the spine halfway up. Strong core, hands to the hips, and come all the way up. Just pause for a second. Let that blood come back into the head. And then heel toe those feet back towards each other. Go ahead and come towards the front of your mat again. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway up, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Pause for a second here. And then bring that right knee towards the right wrist. We're going towards pigeon. So right knee goes towards the right wrist. Right foot goes towards the left. You can always adjust. So if that seemed like too many words, don't worry. Right knee to the right. And then come down. So you're now on your right shin. Scoot your left foot back and move towards your pigeon. So just depending on your anatomy and your flexibility, you can play with where your right shin is. So maybe that right heel is really close to your pelvis. Or some people find it's really nice to have the shin parallel to the front of the mat. So I can't do that without tons of supports. So if you like that pose, feel free to be there. If you're up high and you want to be in this position, just make sure you have some blankets, pillows, blocks underneath your pelvis. Or bring your right heel back. Before coming all the way down, I know we want to get down. Tuck those back toes, lift that back knee off the ground. And then think about trying to scoot your back knee a little bit further. So it's going a little further back. You might even shimmy those toes a little further back. Then lower the knee, untuck those toes. Stay here or come down onto the forearms. Feel free to stack your fists so you have a pillow for your forehead, or you can come all the way down. As always, if this is causing knee pain, don't do it. Come out of the pose. You can always lay down on your back. I'll show you, you can take a figure 4 instead. So that's always a nice option if pigeon's not nice for your body. And wherever you go, really allow yourself to sink down into the pose. So surrender into the pose. Soften the muscles in the face. hips opening up. Few more breaths here. And go ahead and lift yourself back up onto your hands. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Step yourself all the way back up to down dog. Once you're in down dog, you can shake out those legs, do whatever you need to do. You can also go to hands and knees to do this. I like to roll the ankle around. You just want to release any tension there that you may have created. If you're really in the mood, you're welcome to take another vinyasa here. So that's your chaturanga or your yoga push-up, back bend. So cobra or up dog into down dog. If not, just stay here, shake it out. And we'll all meet in down dog. Lifting your left leg up. Bend your knee, open up your hip, just here for a second here. And then the left knee comes forward, shoulders over the wrist, left knee goes towards that left wrist. You might hold here for a little bit. We were up here for a bit on the other side. So trying to get that left foot over to the right. So you're trying to rotate that hip. And it's harder here because you're having to use all your muscles to do that. And then lower that left knee towards the left wrist. Left foot is to the right. Shimmy that right foot back a little bit. And again, you can adjust your position here of your shin. If you already know you want to be on your back, you can of course go straight to your back. So once you found where you want to be with that shin, tuck your back toes, lift that back knee, and really shimmy that leg back. We're just trying to get that right knee a little further back. And once you're there, you can untuck those toes. Feel free to stay up tall or fold forward. Finding your variation of pigeon, maybe supporting your forehead. Really paying attention to the sensations here in your hip. Noticing the changes in the stretch as you stay here. Last few breaths. Take your time. Bring yourself up onto your hands. Really plant the palms, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Make your way back towards down dog, or if you prefer, you can be in hands and knees. And shake it out or circle out the ankle, whatever you need to do. If you want to take a vinyasa, this is your last chance to take it, so go for it. Walk the feet forward towards the hands. Heel toe your feet about as wide as your mat. Toes go slightly out, heels in. Bend your knees, Malasana, Yogi Squat. Not here for too long today. Get yourself in a position that works for you. If you need to, heels can always be off the ground, right? That's okay. If your knees are bugging you, you stay higher up. That's fine too. Just 2 or 3 breaths, opening up. Coming down to seated, feel free to bring your arms back behind you to help yourself out. Stretch out those legs, shake them off. And then bending your right knee. We'll open up that right knee to the side, so the right sole of the foot is towards the inner thigh. From here, reach your right arm up. Left fingertips go slightly behind you. You'll reach that right arm up and over, reaching towards the outside of that left foot. So you have options. Maybe you grab the foot. Maybe you grab your shin and twist, or maybe you're up here grabbing your thigh. It doesn't matter. You find what works for you. So you're folding forward slightly, but finding some rotation in the spine, keeping length for the first few breaths here. Release the rotation, turn towards that left leg. Reach that left arm up and over, crossing the arms so it doesn't matter where you're crossing. And fold, just a few breaths. You're always welcome to bend that knee, that left knee if that feels better. And slowly roll yourself back up. We'll switch sides. Let the right leg go long. You can shake it off a little bit. And bend your left knee. Open the left knee out to the left. Sole of the foot, left sole of the foot to the right inner thigh. Sitting tall. Right hand goes slightly behind you and to the right. So it's not too far behind you, just slightly. Inhale, reach your left arm up and then over to the outside of that right leg. So again, you can grab the foot, the calf, the thigh, the knee. Doesn't matter. So find what feels good here. Thinking about as you rotate, you're still finding length in the spine. Moving to that forward fold just for a moment. Reach that right arm up and over, crossing your arms. Again, doesn't matter where your arms are. Folding forward. Feel free to bend that right knee if that feels best. And slowly rolling back up. Stretch out your left leg, shake it off. And go ahead and bend your knees, scoot yourself, shimmy yourself a little bit forward. Holding on to the backs of the thighs. Slowly start to roll down until your arms are straight. Pause here for a second, bring those shoulders away from the ears. Engage the abdominals, reach the arms forward, and as best you can, come down onto your back nice and slowly. You can sigh it out once you get down. the chest and let your left leg go long. Nice supine twist. Take that right knee across the body over to the left. Right arm out to the side into a T position. Just a few breaths here, not too long today. Coming back to center. Recenter your pelvis if it's shifted. Pull your left knee in, let your right leg go long. Finding your twist on the other side, left knee goes over to the right, left arm out into a T position. Pay attention to the sensations in your body. And gently come back to center. Cross your right leg over your left, so you're letting your thighs cross completely so your knees are nestled. Press your low back towards the mat and lift your feet off the ground. And then grab a hold of your shins. So whichever shin is closest to the right side, you use that right arm to grab. Same thing for the left. Some of you will feel a stretch here. Some people can grab a hold of the feet. Looking for an opening in the hips. It might be really subtle for some of you. If you're not feeling it, you can always play with where your pelvis is. You can tilt the pelvis forward and back, or side to side, or play with how bent your knees are. This is super intense. Let your feet go and grab a hold of your knees instead. Go ahead and release, stretch those legs up towards the ceiling. Cross the left leg over the right, bend your knees. Might need to adjust those legs a little bit. You're just finding the stretch on the other side. Grab a hold of your shins or your feet or your knees. Again, feeling free to play with how bent your knees are, or the tilt of your pelvis, or where your weight is on your body. So that'll change it if you lean to one side. Last few breaths here. And let it go. Stretch those legs up towards the ceiling, uncross those legs. Then hug the knees into the chest, wrap your arms around your shins. Maybe stay here or lift your shoulders in your head. Maybe kiss your knees for a moment. And release. Find your Shavasana. So get comfortable. There's no right or wrong, so maybe you need to sit up, or maybe your knees need to be bent. Hands can rest alongside the body or on the body. And just give yourself permission to let go for a little bit. So you're welcome to just let yourself release, relax completely. If you would like to add some words to your breath here to help anchor you, you're welcome to do that. So the words I'll offer today is inhale, love in, and exhale, love out. So just in your head, if that's helpful, as you inhale, you say the words inhale, love in. And in your head, as you exhale, you say the words exhale, love out. So as I do this, might sound cheesy, but I like it. I like to imagine a color is entering my body, like maybe pink as I inhale love in. And then a color is exiting my body as I exhale. Maybe it's purple. Exhale love out. And they can go in and out of the nose or in through the nose and out of the mouth. Make it work for you. Inhale love in. Exhale love out. If your body wants to stay here longer and you can, let yourself do that. You can stay flat on your back. If you need to get on with the rest of the day, invite some movement into the body, maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes or swaying your head. On your next inhale, stretch the arms all the way up and overhead, lengthen out, create space, take up space. Then bend your knees, pull them in towards the chest. Feel free to stay here or roll to one side just for a moment, feeling the comfort of the earth. Wherever you are, maybe bringing to mind again that one thing you love about yourself, or maybe you think of something new. And be small. And if nothing comes to mind, maybe just thinking, I love myself for showing up today for myself, for my body, for my mind. Go ahead and press yourself all the way up to seated. Any comfortable seat you like. Bring your palms to touch in front of the heart. Deep inhale through the nose. Let it out the mouth. Head bows towards the heart. Heart lifts up. Namaste.